This video is for lesson 1.14 and it's over slope. So this first one is the Mr. Slope guy. And so the steepness of a line is called slope. So circle the line with the biggest slope. So the biggest slope is going to be the steepest line. So you've got to think about walking up a hill and which one would be the hardest to walk up. So this one would be our steepest line or our biggest slope. The letter we use for slope is a lowercase m. And so when given a graph of a line, we need to know a simple definition of slope. So m equals the change in y, and change is represented with a triangle, over the change in x. And the way we write this is rise over run. So slope is the ratio, and that's important, of a line's vertical change to its horizontal change. And so Mr. Slope Guy can help you, because if you have a graph and your line looks like this, is going up in this direction, then you know your slope is positive. If your line is angled down, like this eyebrow is, then your slope is negative. If you have a line that is straight up and down, it is undefined. And then finally, if you have a flat line, your slope is 0. Okay, so here are the different types of slope: positive, negative, 0, and no slope, or undefined. And we are going to find the slope of these lines. So I'm going to move this up so we've got some room to work. All right, so we're going to do rise over run. So we start at one point, and our goal is to get here to this next point. So we have to see how many we're going to rise. So we have to go up 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have to go up 4, and then we run. So we run 1, 2. And so 4 over 2, if you simplify that, if you stick it in your calculator, you're going to get a 2. All right, example 3 here. This time for our rise, we're going to go down. So we're going to go down 1, 2, 3. So if you go down, it's going to be a negative 3. And then we're going to run 1, 2. And so this would be negative 3 over 2. All right, so on example 5, rise over run. So I don't rise any. I don't have to go up any. But I can run 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if you put 0 over 5 into your calculator, you're going to get a slope of 0. So with a nice flat line, the way you can think about it is a nice, perfectly flat, smooth floor. So you should have 0 problems walking on a nice, smooth, flat floor. And then finally, example 7, we've got to go from here to here. So I rise 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But I don't run any. And if you would put 5 over 0 into your calculator, you're going to get an error. And so this is the undefined slope. And so with these up and down lines, think of it like a wall. And I've always told my kids to think, you're not Spider-Man. You can't climb up walls. It's impossible. So it's undefined slope. Okay, on this next page, it says let's find slope of a line. So first, you're going to locate 2 points with x, y coordinates. So nice, pretty points that fall right on an x, y coordinate. Next, you're going to create a ratio with a rise and a run. And then you're going to count your rise and run. And then last is the slope of the line, positive or negative, and then we're going to put it all together. So first we got to locate 2 points. So we're going to use, this is a nice pretty point, and this is a nice pretty point. And so now we're going to create our ratio, our rise over run. So I have to rise, I go down 2, so that's a negative 2, and then I run 1, 2, 3. And so my slope is negative 2/3, and this is going downhill So our slope is negative. So don't forget, if it's negative, you need to mark it negative. On the your try parts, you're going to find the slope, and you're going to use this point here and this point here. So make your ratio, rise over run. So you rise 2, and you're going to run 1. And if you put that in your calculator, that simplifies to 2. Now the bonus is, can you also find the equation? So this is something we're going to get into later, but every equation of a line that we do this year is in the form y equals mx plus b. So the y is already there, and we saw earlier that we use this little m for slope, so you would just plug that 2 in for the slope. X always stays the same, and then the b. The b, is where this line crosses the y-axis. So this line crosses the y-axis at -1. And so the other way that you can write this is 2x minus 1. And that's the equation of this line. All right, the last notes for this day are finding slope. And so you're going to count the rise and the run on these. So on number 1, you're going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if I go down, it's a negative. And then I run 1, 2, 3, 4. And if you stick this in your calculator, it's going to simplify it to -3 over 2. All right, on this one, we go down 1, 2, 3, 4. So I go down, that's a negative. This time I'm going to go to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if I go to the left, it's a -5. So again, if you stick this into your calculator, it's going to simplify to 4/5. All right, number 3. 1, 2, 3. I go down 3, and then I run 1, 2, 3. If you stick it into your calculator, that will simplify to a -1. All right, number 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I go down 5, so a -5. And I go to the left 2, so that's a -2. In your calculator, it will simplify it to 5 over 2. So your two negatives here are going to cancel each other. And the same thing in number 2. Those two negatives are going to cancel. All right, number 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I go down 7, so a -7. I run 5 to the left, so that's a negative. And both negatives will cancel, so your slope is 7 over 5. And then finally, this last one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Down 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Left 5, so -5 over -5 simplifies to a 1. So that is it for the notes for today.